And they were just selling them at these crazy numbers. Remember, back in the days, all you needed to do was qualify. You didn't need to have proof of income and all that. All you needed was good credit.
Oh, because this was before the crash.
This was before
Wait
the
a minute.
crash.
So they were short selling stuff in the height when like you could borrow anything you want?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, kid. Welcome back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. My name is Charles. Ape used to be Captain Permit. We still love him. 516-513-8838. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, a short sale.
Melissa Gonzalez.
No, I want to buy short sales.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's me now, and then we're coming to you.
Sorry.
It's going to be all about
I'm
you,
selfish.
but the intro is about me. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, dated from the 1960s, 6 inches of mold on the walls, human waste floating past the basement steps. I'm quick, I'm easy, I'm a good time. I want to buy it. Notes, commercial property, I don't care. Anything real estate related, I want to buy it. Obviously, this podcast and every other is sponsored by,
No.
Carla Financial. Not any Carla Financial. Sal Rizzolo out of the Patchogue office. We know him. We love him. If you don't know him, you should know him. Do you work as a loan officer?
No, I don't. I don't have.
Do you only do short sale stuff?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do everything.
Oh, so when you're working with a buyer, right? Or no, you work in the sale. You're listing a property because you list a lot of properties.
Yes.
And someone's come with a traditional mortgage. Do you have somebody screen these people to make sure that this thing doesn't just go to shit?
Them.
You screen them. You pull all their like docs. You look at their DTI.
You're not allowed to ask certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, before you were able to ask certain questions, now you're not allowed to. So basically, you can't even. If a loan officer wants to give you that information, by all means, but you're not allowed to say what is the DTI.
No, I make the buyer get on the phone with Sal and send all the docs for a pre-approval to make sure that they can actually afford the house. Because I've had way too many problems.
Yeah, but
you don't have time to do that, do you?
I don't have time to do that. No.
Yeah, no.
Nobody has time to.
You don't have time. I don't know how you're doing what you're doing. You're all over the place.
Yeah.
So that everybody knows, right? So you give everybody the 30 to 60 second high level intro of who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Melissa Gonzalez. I am a licensed real estate agent. I am also a short sale negotiator. Been doing it for 19 years. I've been doing short sales.
Really?
19 years.
How old are you?
37. I was 18 when I started.
Okay.
I got licensed at 18. Never was interested in selling a home. I got into real estate when 2004 I got licensed. 2005 I started doing short sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been I've only been in the business for 6 or 7 years, right? And then
Really?
Yeah, I haven't been that long.
Seems like longer.
No, I know. It does seem like longer, but no, I haven't. And short sales, I feel like, were big after the crash. But you were doing short sales before short sales were
Nobody knew what a short sale was.
Was it even called a short sale then?
Yes.
It was called a short sale?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have heard about like guys that used to do this stuff back in the day and they would talk about short sales. They're like, we were doing these things so long. They used to be called, I don't know, well, they have short pays now, but I think they used to call them short pays. There was something else they used to call them. No, they're wrong.
I've only known them to be short sales. So it's funny because I feel like it was so crazy back in the days. You will get a short sale approved today. You will get it into contract. You will close. And then the next week, it's already being flipped because there was you have to wait 90 days. You have to do this. And yeah, nobody knew what a short sale was. I didn't know what a short sale was.
So how did you, forgive me, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but like if I met you on the street, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is a girl that's been doing short sale negotiation and trudging in and out of houses that like are destroyed since she's 18 years old. So how did you get into that?
I was going to college. My whole family have moved to Florida. So I moved back to New York. I lived in Florida for like a year. And I was like, I was working at TJ Maxx, I remember. And I was going to school in the daytime. And I was like, I want to go to school at nighttime. And I want to work an office job. I always knew I wanted to work an office job for whatever reason. And I got a job at a real estate office. And I was the receptionist. So for whatever reason, I kept seeing people making money. And I kept hearing short sales. I'm like, what is this? They didn't sell a house and they only specialize in short sales.
This particular brokerage that you were in?
Yes.
Was it like like a Remax, like a Century
No,
21?
it was called Novelty Realty. There was one in the Bronx and there was one in South Ozone Park.
And they weren't buying the stuff? All they were doing?
They were.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Yeah. But still, they were selling it too. But they were getting the short sale, not doing much to it, and they were just selling them at these crazy numbers. Remember, back in the days, all you needed to do was qualify. You didn't need to have, like you said, that you call Sal for proof of income and all of that. All you needed was good credit, right?
Wow. Oh, because this was before the crash.
This was before
Wait
the
a minute.
crash.
So they were short selling stuff in the height when like you could borrow anything you want?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you there through the crash?
Yes. But it was harder.
I'll keep telling the story. This is good.
Okay. So I was working there and I said, I want to see what they're doing. Like I was making $250 and I was paying rent and a car or whatever, right? So I went and I got licensed and I spoke to the boss. So they had a mortgage company in the same building, real estate company.
Are these people still in business?
No. but
Is anybody locked up from that operation?
No. Because it wasn't, it was just going after short sales.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
Once you do the whole mortgage thing in there, and I feel like they're realtors, they're selling them, they're doing the mortgages. I'm like,
no. The real estate company was just negotiating the short sale.
Got it.
They were not really trying to sell them.
Got it.
They just wanted, it was like one or two realtor. So in my mind, realtors don't make money, right? Guess who makes money? Short sales. That's what I'm seeing.
Got it.
I'm not seeing no realtor bringing listings and stuff like that. So anyways, I went and I got licensed and I went to my boss at the time and I was like, teach me what this short sale thing is. He gives me a file and he's like, here, figure it out. I didn't know what a hardship letter was.
What did he give you?
He gave me a file. He's like, figure it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that his version of tough love? Like what?
Because you know what it was? He was paying a broker that I remember he brought her from the Bronx and she specialized in short sales. And she was but like myself, I'm 37 now,
Okay.
right? So she was that age. And she was like, okay, you're going to give me, the commission is mine and whatever. So he sees an 18-year-old and he's like, oh, you want to learn? Okay, figure it out. Show me that you know how to learn. Mm-hmm. I'll work with you. Like I'll teach you. Back then there was no HUD. They used to do a net sheet.
Wow.
So they used to just send a net sheet. And I'm like, first of all, I'm an immigrant, right? Like,
were you born in DR?
Yeah, I was. Okay. So, and I was going to college, but like, I didn't even know what the definition of a hardship was, to be honest. And I grew up with family that just purchased houses. They, credit was important. So I didn't think that people would not pay their credit card and go into debt. So I got licensed. I did my first short sale, took me 8 months. I became cool with the negotiator. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? He guided me through. Wow. And that's how I closed my first deal. And I only made like $2,000.
But you did it, so you did it what, from just handling negotiations? Were you going out there and getting the deals?
No,
how were those guys getting the deals?
Oh my God. I remember there was a girl named Dawn. They used to pay her just for leads once it closed. And they used to just door knock. And they only used to, remember, there was also a lot of foreclosures back then. You didn't know it, but there were.
So this pre-crash.
Pre-crash. There was auction dates. And they used to take the newspapers and they used to go that's how they got the list. There was a list that they used to pay for. Mm-hmm. It was, let's say, 50 houses. They used to go door knock and they used to bring so many deals. I ended up managing like a whole department of like 10 employees before I left.
Hold on. So basically, they would look for a list to see who was going to get
auctioned.
And then they would send a team out in the street and just be banging on doors.
Knocking.
How many people? Like real serious operation?
They used to do a lot of seminars and they used to be like, listen, go there, tell them they're losing their house. They are already going to lose their house. It was a list that it came out, I think it was every Tuesday. And it was like 50 houses the most. And they used to bring those deals. There was no cold calling.
So they would do seminars to bring people in off the street to say, you can make money door knocking for us.
Yes.
We're going to give you the list. You go out there, knock on these doors. This is in the boroughs, right? Nothing on Long Island?
No, we didn't touch Long Island. It was the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I remember like yesterday, I approved a short sale for $200,000 at 186 Moffett in Brooklyn. It's worth about $4 million today.
This is in 05.
No, this was in '09.
Oh, when everything was just
Yeah.
a mess. So
Before that, yeah. Before that, it was because you will get the repeated person that will not pay their mortgage. And then they'll come back to you. I bought this house. I can't pay it in '09. Right?
yeah.
They'll come back to
Yeah,
you.
no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm still stuck. I don't want to skip over because I'm still stuck on the strategy of how they went and actually did this. So they had seminars. They would bring people in. They would say, hey, if you door knock for us
Yep.
and you get someone to commit to doing a short sale, we're going to pay you what?
It was $500 a deal.
$500 a deal. And it had to close.
Yeah, only if it closed. If it didn't close, you don't get paid.
$500 a deal. And you guys had people lining up to go run around and bang
Yep.
on people's doors for $500 a shot.
Yep. And they didn't want people to look like us, presentable, like in a way, like they wanted people that look like regular person that, like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like they didn't want people, like if you're wearing heels and suits, don't go knock on them.
Okay.
Because they're not gonna open the door for you, and they're
Got
not gonna understand, and they're gonna feel that probably you're the bank, right?
Got it.
They wanted somebody who's very down to earth and that they're going to like wear sneakers, like don't dress up,
just
don't wear
somebody
makeup.
from around the way,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah, because remember we're hitting Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Jamaica, and South Ozen, and like those areas.
So go out there, knock on these doors. So they had these people running around for free. How would they bring people in to do the workshops? Like they would advertise the workshops?
They will advertise them in newspapers.
So they would advertise workshops. And how often would they do them?
Once a week. And it was about 50 people will show up.
Once a week. And I guess like maybe 5 people would keep doing it. And then the rest, they would just cycling in new people. Maybe they would do a deal or not do a deal, but they would just keep cycling new people.
I remember there was one girl that she would bring 5 to 10 deals a week.
A week?
A week. She's a realtor now.
Wow.
Yeah. Just door knocking.
Just door knocking.
There was no skip tracing. There was no, let's hire cold callers. Like, I know that maybe they try that approach, but none of those programs where you're looking for their numbers were there. You're looking, you know what I mean? It wasn't the same.
No, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. It was all door knocking. And I can tell you right now that, but who wants to get in a car and door knock when you can sit in your house and call in an hour, right? But back then, that's what they did. They used to go after work because people still had a job.
That is really freaking smart. So how many deals would they used to get every week?
I want to say like they also had like different investors. So it wasn't like a lot of investors like now because not everybody could close, right? Like 20 years ago, like not everybody knew what a short sale was.
No, they didn't have like institutional private money.
Yeah.
Like you needed real cash or like some guy who was lending you money like.
Or you're getting a mortgage as a borrower, you're buying it yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting a mortgage. I want to say they were closing about 10 short sales, maybe a month to a week. There was a point that it was like 20 short sales, but later on, right, it was like 20 short sales, and sometimes they will close 4 or 5 deals a day.
So what were you doing? You were doing processing at that point?
I was processing the short sales.
Wow. I
So
can't
they'll
believe you've
bring them.
I can't believe you've been doing this shit for 19 years.
19 years, yeah.
Wow.
But I stopped in that, like, I want to tell you, like, from, like, let's say 2009 to 2014, I would do, like, 1 deal here and there because nobody could close. So I was getting the crazy numbers and nobody was able to close.
Really? Why? Because nobody had money?
So when the crash happened, we were getting them approved and nobody could get a mortgage. You needed this amount, you needed that, right? So they couldn't close.
And there were no investors with cash?
I was going to school. I had a job too. So I was doing it like on the side type of thing. But from 2004 till 2009, I was doing it like full time, right? And I lived in Brooklyn. So I was also very careful with who I did business with. I didn't have that pool of living in Long Island and meeting all these other investors that were out there. Mm-hmm. And people didn't use social media like we use them now.
So basically you took a hiatus from 2009 to 2014.
Yeah.
And then you came back in 2014?
Mm-hmm.
What brought you back in? And what were you doing from 2009 to 2014?
I was working a regular job and I hated it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to go back. Like the passion and the drive and the challenge of a short sale. I was like, I need to go back to that. So I said, I was licensed. I hate it and I love it. It's like it's like an addiction. I'm addicted to this shit. It's an addiction.
It's like a toxic relationship that you just
is.
can't get away from.
it's like a narcissist. Like you just can't go. It is crazy. Have you ever had a deal that you're like?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, have you ever had a narcissist? I was like, yes.
Puerto Rican?
No. She wasn't Puerto Rican. No.
Well, you can understand, but still, like when you have a deal that you're like, I could get this number down.
Have you ever had a narcissist?
I think that people throw that word.
No, they're a real clinical narcissist.
Yes,
though.
but I feel like
people do throw it around like ADHD.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between somebody being an asshole.
Yes.
Right?
We've all dated assholes.
And somebody who's a narcissist. So I think like a lot of people do throw that word around a lot, and I'm like,
Okay, so never dated a narcissist. Dated some assholes, no narcissists.
Yeah, assholes, players, but not like.
What does your generation call them? Fuck boys? Yeah. Does you don't. You're closer to me.
What? Age?
Yeah, you're 37?
Yeah. Just turned 37.
Wow.
I'm old.
No, you're not old.
Yeah.
I'm 44 and I feel great.
Really?
I feel younger now.
Yeah.
No kids. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know. People come at me 100% all the time, and I'm like,
well, you're Dominican. You don't age. Period. End of story. You
but I'm Dominican. I'm 37, and I don't have a kid.
Oh, they comment. I was like,
yeah,
but that's not a bad thing.
I'm like, listen, I'm living my best life.
Kids are a lot of work. I see you. First of all, on Instagram, you are fucking funny.
Oh, thank you.
You know, like people have to tell you that.
No, they don't.
You are funny.
Oh, thank you.
You are really freaking funny.
Get out. I'm gonna start posting more.
No, Amanda loves you. She's like, this girl's hilarious. I love her. And then she starts showing me the bagel video, and I was freaking dying because, I mean, it's just who you are. It's your whole persona. It's the accent with the gestures. Nobody ever tells you you're funny.
I think I'm hilarious. But
you are funny.
People don't appreciate my humor.
You know what it is? People they do. They're just silent about it.
I think I'm the most out of all my friends. I think I'm the funniest. But
so you're living your best life. Yeah.
I am. But back to short sales. I think it's the challenge. Like I went back because I'm like, first, honestly, I really enjoy helping people. And a lot of people are not always doing right by people, right? Like they're taking advantage of these homeowners, and they'll say, I'll help you. Like, and then they have a file for like a year and it's just sitting there and they're not really working with them.
I think it's more about the fact that they just don't know what they're doing. Like short sales is a very nuanced thing. Like people like to throw around, oh, I do short sales, whatever. No. There's really, I mean, if I had to think about it, on Long Island, one hand worth of like people and or operations that like really know how to do a short sale.
Yeah.
Have the process down, have the right paperwork, know what needs to be done. Otherwise, it's a shit show and it sits there forever.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't want to realize and say, hey, you know what? I don't know how to do a short sale, but I did get the deal. Let me hire somebody to process it for me, and I still get paid my commission as an agent. And I think if they were able to say, hey, I'm still getting 6% from the bank, why am I going to waste my time that if I don't know what I'm doing? A lot of people want to be good at everything and not great at one thing.
Do you have a lot of situations? I feel that most agents I've talked to about this most of them will say, this isn't what I do. If I'm getting my commission, like you run with this.
If you're looking at MLS, you have listings that are listed and we have violation, liens, judgments, but I want $500,000 for it. And a short sale is not just the value. You also have to take into consideration all of the stuff that's on title. And a strong negotiator is going to negotiate on the behalf of the homeowner and the buyer, right? But I do come across people that they'd rather learn and not pay somebody, an expert, a fee because they feel that they could do it.
Well, because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I give you credit because you must have a lot of patience because I couldn't do that shit. Like,
I know.
Dealing with the bank, dealing with all the bullshit. And listen, what people don't realize is like you're working for free until the deal closes. Mm-hmm. And those things will, and have fallen apart at the table.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult. So wait, what ultimately brought you back in? You were at your other job. You were like, F this. I don't like this. I hate the office life. I'm going back.
Money.
Yeah.
I wanted to help people, but I also wanted to make money. So I said, I'm going to go back because I still had my real estate license up until like 2014. That's when it expired. I still had it because I was doing a deal here and there. People will still remember me and bring me a deal. So I said, I'm going to go get my license again because I let it expire for like 3 months and then I forgot. When I got licensed in 2014, I said, I'm going to now sell houses. I didn't think I was good at selling houses.
Okay, so you were like, I'm not doing the short sale thing
No,
anymore.
no. I said I'm gonna do both.
Okay.
Um,
So originally you were just doing negotiation.
Only.
Got it.
And then I went and I said I'm gonna sell 2 houses and I'm gonna quit my job, and then I'm just gonna do short sales and be an agent like whatnot, and I'm gonna start flipping.
No shit. Are you flipping?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I flipped too.
No shit.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So, I went, I got licensed.
Good for you. You were fucking doing it.
Thank you. I closed my 2 deals. I quit my job and I started from 2014 on, and I've never looked back.
Wow. So what are the things you do? How do you come into the transaction? Like, how do realtors work with you? Explain it all.
So I work both with realtors, buyers, and sellers. Mostly, a lot of people ask me for deals. I'm like, I'm not sitting there and cold calling. Again, you could be great at one thing. You're not going to be great at everything. I know that my strength are short sales, right? And I do work with buyers and sellers. But so if a realtor, I'm like, if you come across because somebody knows you from church, how many people do seminars in church and get so many people that are going through stuff, especially in the boroughs? If somebody comes to you and says, look, I can't afford my home. I bought a house from you. You sold me a house. Now I'm getting a divorce. We have liens, whatnot. Give me the deal. I'll negotiate it. The buyer is going to pay my fee and you get paid your fee, and we can close it 30 to 90 days.
Regardless of the stare, it doesn't matter if it's like someone that's going to, if it's an investor or someone that's going to live in the house, you always work it that way?
Yes.
And there's never a problem with it?
I get paid by the buyer.
Wow.
And sometimes, depending on the lender, I can get the bank to pay for my fee.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
But here's the thing. If we're being honest, and I'm going to be very blunt and very honest, if I'm having a bank pay for my fee, then guess what? It's still coming out of the buyer. Because the bank still needs a certain net.
Got it.
And a certain number. So sometimes when they're like, okay, you want me to pay your fee? Add an extra $20,000, $30,000, which is not my fee, to this is what I need you to come in at. And then it really goes back to that investment.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So, wow.
So that's why I tell my investors, whoever I'm working with, I'm not putting my fee on the HUD, because they're like, okay, I'm paying a broker fee, I'm paying transfer taxes, I'm paying all these judgments, I'm paying relocation, and you also want me to pay a third party? I'm paying attorney's fee. Okay, so if the value came in, let's just say 500,000, then I need you to give me 515. I'm just using crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Or if my number is the value came in at 500 and my offer is 400,000, they're like, okay, give me 450 and I'll let you put in your fee. So they're looking at that.
Wow. Listen, it makes sense. I just didn't think they really looked at it like that, because it's like, it's just a machine.
No,
right?
There's
not. So many of these things. Like if you and I were looking at it, we'd be like, hey, this is what we need.
No, it's not. That's why I personally don't like to put my fee on the bank, because one, they're going to, 50% of the times they'll say, no, take it off. I can tell you what banks will approve it, which is only 2 of them. Okay. They'll take it off. They'll tell you take it off. Right. Mm-hmm. And then the other time they're like, okay, we'll approve it. But instead of the 400, give me 450. Because they're like, okay, wait, it's coming out of my net.
Yeah.
Let's add on to it.
No, it makes sense. Listen, I get it. Do you still, I mean, I've seen reload change a lot. Like when I first got into the game like 6-7 years ago, people were getting like 25, 30, 40, 50,000 in reload from the bank.
Yeah.
Do you see that happening anymore, or is that pretty much done?
20,000 is, I've gotten an offer of $20,000 from a reversed recently, because.
From the bank?
From the bank.
Was it one of the ones that was federally insured, or was it one of the ones that they sold off to a private investor?
No, it was insured.
Wow.
Yeah, they offered $20,000 because I argued. I said, listen, the cost of living, you want them to move out of this house. So they told me, tell the investor to pay for it. And I said, the investor doesn't need to pay for it. Because guess what? Legally, so this is when you use the word, back to them, legally, a homeowner is not supposed to get any money from the investor. But you, as the servicer, you are allowed to give the money to relocate. And the rent in Long Island is about $5,000. And they need first month, and I need you to give them $20,000, and they gave them the $20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
How often does it happen? Are you getting a lot of pushback lately?
The most that I get is $10,000.
But still, that's good.
I get $10,000 all the time. The only time I don't argue for that $10,000 is when the number is so low that I go to the,
Yeah.
and I'm like, just pay the relocation.
Yeah.
Or just give cash for keys.
You think it's getting harder, or you think it's getting easier? Or do you think it's just always the same game?
It depends how you look at it. I think that
you've been doing this a long, you've been doing this way longer than anybody I know.
Really?
20 years.
Yeah. I think that banks are getting smarter. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Banks are getting smarter to the point that, can I mention banks?
Yeah.
There's a bank that was so easy, and they got a management from New York. And the guy, I call him, and I'm like, listen, this is by the water. There's flood insurance, whatever. And I'm arguing. I just got a house approved in Freeport for like $160,000. And I'm arguing with him. And he's like, yeah, I grew up in Bethpage. This side of Freeport is like a great area. So either you run with it. And I'm like, okay, I'll take my 160. I was like, say less, but they're getting smarter and they're in California. This, you know what I mean? And it's like,
I feel like you should go over to the dark side. I feel like they should hire you. There's a few people where it's like, yo, like I want to raise a fund of 500 million, go out and buy like a ton of freaking notes, and then just work with people like you.
Do it. I say it all the time.
What we would do because they don't know.
Listen, the thing about getting into short sales and doing short sales, I was having a conversation with a friend, and he's like, you're very aggressive. I'm like, I could be sweet or I could be aggressive. It depends who I'm talking on the phone. And I already know, the people that certain banks have the same negotiators, and you're dealing with them over and over again. So you're not going to bully me into, right? Like, I'll give you an example. A bank call and something happened with the value and they're going back and forth. I already know what your value is. I already know your guidelines. I already know that you're going to accept 87% of whatever the appraisal is. So you coming back to me like, I need full appraisal. I can either say yes and you're going to get a higher commission, or I could say no, and push back. But I can't be a sweetheart all the time. Now, if I need you to stop a sale, I am going to be kissing your behind and like, oh my God. I will even start like crying, but it all depends, Maybe I'm the narcissist.
No.
No, I'm just joking. But it all depends who you have on the phone.
Do you know is you knowing the percentages and the guidelines just based on data, like years and hundreds of deals done?
Yeah.
So you track all that stuff.
Yes.
You track every deal, what it closes at, what the appraised number at, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, where'd you learn how to do that?
No program. It's just like myself.
No, but that's very smart.
Yeah,
but the average person is not going to think to do that. Like, you have 20 years worth of data tracking all the banks, understanding like this is the guidelines.
Yeah. But also, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, sometimes I'm very honest, right? And I'm also an investor. So I'm on the seller side because I've worked with sellers and I sit with them. I'm on the buyer side because I'm an investor. So sometimes we get a number that I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So when did you segue into being an investor, and what kind of stuff are you investing? Are you flipping? Are you holding? Are you doing both? Like, what was that? When did that happen?
I wanted to always be an investor. I wanted to flip houses. I wanted to make money. So when I got back into real estate in 2014, I said, I'm going to be a realtor. I'm going to save all that money from being a realtor, all the commission, besides the bill, like the first 2 years. Then I opened up my short sale company, Bright Horizons, which is just negotiating short sales. So I have a short sale company that I just negotiate short sales.
Is it just you or you have a team?
It's myself, and I have, people that work under me, but I'm the one that talks to the bank.
Okay.
So I opened up that company. So I said, with that, I'm just going to keep whatever. But whatever money I make from buying, working with buyers and sellers, I'm going to flip. So when I saved X amount of money, I went to my investors or wholesalers. I said, I'm ready to buy a house cash. Let me know when you have a good deal. And I bought one in Huntington.
What year was this?
My first house I bought in 2020.
Okay.
And I bought it cash. Then I paid for all the repairs with my money. And then I flipped it. I made like $200,000.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Well, my numbers are very good.
Shit.
I'm a numbers person. If I could sell a house and I'm gonna make $50,000 commission, and I could flip a house and I'm going to make $80,000, I'm not buying the house.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
No, I
Like,
get
not
it.
necessarily that house, but in general, I look at those numbers.
Yeah, no.
So then I bought that
It's
one.
risk and time value of money.
Yeah,
If
and
you
then-
can get money in 3 months, even if you're getting a little more in 9 months, there's no point.
Yeah. So I took that money, I bought another one and did the same thing. That one I purchased for more. And I want to buy and hold. I really do. And I have a lot of friends.
You have to.
I know, but the thing is that New York is so expensive right now, right? So my whole thing is, if I want to buy multifamilies, right?
What's the sense? It could be single family.
I know, but that's my goal for this year.
To buy a rental?
I want to buy a rental before the end of the year.
Okay.
And I think I want to buy in Pennsylvania.
Why?
Because the laws for the tenants and the landlord. I mean, I like Long Island. Like, I feel like when people say, oh, tenants, I'm not scared of that because I'm not scared of people and I know how to talk to people. And I'm good at reading people in the sense, like, if I rent to you and I know who I'm renting to, kind of thing. And everybody that I've rent for, they've never had any issue. So
you do rentals also? You represent landlords also?
I do everything.
Damn.
I make every money that I can. But what I'm not doing now, I'm not working with buyers anymore like that.
Okay.
Because I don't have the time.
I don't know. I can't believe you have the time to do all this stuff.
No, yeah, but I don't work weekends. Short sales, you only work Monday through Friday. Weekends, you're not working short sales. Banks are closed.
Yeah, but you're still like, you're looking at deals. You're speaking to people that are, behind. Do they want to do the deal? Do they not want to do the deal? Whatever. It's still, real estate is a 24/7 thing.
Yes. No, yes. But I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I'm selfish with my time. I am okay with, I haven't gone away not one time this year. And I love to travel. But I understand that I need to sacrifice certain things. And I love to travel. But I am okay working. I'm not a morning person. So I'm not waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm okay with going to sleep at 1:30 at night. And doing it the same thing, the next day. And putting in the time and the hour. And again, I've been doing it for so long. I could do a HUD in a minute.
Where do you see the market going in regards to short sales, foreclosures?
I think there's going to be a lot of foreclosures. I think there's already a lot of foreclosures. I think that even though people are saying that it's not the same and people who have that 2% interest rate are not going to sell, unfortunately, I know people that have 3.5%, 4% interest rate. The credit card debt is crazy high. They did a forbearance or try to do a loan modification during COVID, and the banks are not as lenient as they were. Before, you will get a forbearance a loan modification on any house like this.
Yep.
They don't understand that you need to prove that you are in a hardship, and I feel like those people are going to end up in short sales.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my personal opinion is mods don't work. Like, I think mods work maybe 3% of the time for people that got stuck in a certain situation and now are making the money. But otherwise, it's like, if you couldn't afford the house, saving $300 a month is not going to help you. And you have so much debt that's piled onto this from not paying for the last 2 years. Like, you're never getting out.
And the thing is that it goes in the back of your loan. It becomes a second mortgage.
Yeah.
It's not like it's forgiven, and people think that. So you're going to be stuck in that house, and you're not going to have that equity, right?
So so the biggest thing with people doing short sales is they're emotionally involved in the house, right? They've been there. They love it. It's embarrassing, right? To short sale a house in certain places, certain people think, rather than just wipe. And I always tell people, I'm like, why would you do that? Just wipe the slate clean. Like, well, I can do a loan modification. I'm like, you have a house worth $400 that you owe $850,000 on. If you were shopping for a house, would you go spend $850,000 on a house worth $400? No. So why are you doing it now? So how do you like, as a realtor, rationalize with those people and make them understand that this is not a good move for them?
I think you just tell them straight up. You couldn't. I had a lady call me recently that a realtor referred me. She wants to do a short sale. She already has stopped the house 4 times. She did 4 bankruptcy to stop 4 sales.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's another sale. And I said, how long have you not paid? 13 years.
Wow.
So you haven't paid in 13 years and you think you're still going to save this house?
That's New York.
Right?
But I understand that thought process. Be like, they haven't thrown me out in 13 years. Like, are they ever going to throw me out?
They're not, but they will throw you out eventually.
Yes, of course.
But the point is, like, do you want to get ahead of it? And do you want to say, can I walk away with money to, like, at least clear my debt? Because that's the thing. When you have a short sale, your credit card debt, your medical, if it's attached to the home, it has to be paid by the buyer.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it. You're basically starting free. new. But don't even go as far as that. What about, you know how many people they have just left their house because a parent, grandparent, they passed away and the house is just vacant there.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, I didn't even know you could do a short sale. So for the people that say there's not going to be a lot of short sales, you're not going to see them because you may not be, like, regular buyers not going to be able to buy them, but there's so much money in short sales.
Yeah, no. And listen, if you're an agent, there's a lot of money in identifying them and then passing them off to somebody like you. So you bring them in, work with somebody like Melissa, understand, like, okay, I understand how it works, what's going on. This way you can educate them to a certain extent. Then you let you deal with all the processing. They get 6%.
Yep.
No questions asked.
And the homeowner gets a $10,000 relocation.
So in conclusion, what would you say to, I guess, twofold. What would you say to investors who are looking to purchase short sales, right? And just think that that's like, it's an easy thing and that banks are just giving houses away. And what would you say to agents who are thinking about getting into the short sale game, either on the negotiation side and or just trying to bring those deals in as another angle, especially if the economy is going to go sideways?
Well, I think the investor side, I think that with everything that happened with people overpaying for houses, it has messed up the prices with the short sales because it doesn't matter how much repair a house may need, you're still getting a high comparable. And the banks are seeing that because they saw how much people were going into bidding wars and like the news or whatnot. But I think in either end of the spectrum, wherever you're sitting, if you are an investor and you can fix up the block, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're changing the neighborhood. You're yes, you're making money, but you're making a house for somebody that could possibly not afford to pay that. It's a business transaction, and if you cannot make a lot of money in one deal, make it another one. But the goal is to hire the right person to do it for you, and to know that you're not gonna make $200,000 in every deal. You can make $50,000. But it's all about either volume, right? But you can still make money. It depends how you go about it.
So I want everybody to understand this. Not everybody can negotiate a short sale. They can't. No. There is very, very, very few people that really understand how to deal with it. And it's a war.
Yeah.
Like Melissa will tell you, it is a war, from the negotiations to dealing with title problems to dealing with liens and judgments and just it is as messy as it gets.
And you also have to understand, like back in the days, like going back to investors, they wouldn't put credit card liens and judgments on title. Now they do. So now, and an attorney is not going to sit there and call the bank 200 times a day, where's my approval, and then clear title.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense, because the attorney's making $1,500 and it's not worth their time.
Well, my attorneys get paid really well.
So if you're an attorney?
My attorneys make good money, but because I fight for everybody involved, right? So when a bank tells me it's $1,500, I'm like, do you think in New York an attorney gets paid $1,500? But I will end by saying this. If you are a realtor, you need to diversify yourself and say, hey, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm losing my home, am I going to say, no, I don't know how to do a short sale and not take the deal? You have to be able to do everything because it's getting hard. And I was there when the market was, a listing was on the market for 3 months, 6 months before it sold. And people are like, oh my God, it's been on the market for 30 days. It's not going to sell. That's real estate for you.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to change with the times and
people have just
yourself.
been spoiled. They've just been spoiled.
Oh yeah. Everybody wanted to be a realtor, but now we're going to see who's going to stick around.
That's true. Well, Senora Gonzalez, I appreciate you coming down. I appreciate you telling me I look skinny when you walked in the door. If anybody's out there, investors, realtors, anybody who needs your services, how do they get in touch with you? How do they reach out?
You can contact me. My Instagram is the Short Sale Girl. And you can also contact me at info@brighthorizonsny.com.
Love it. Obviously, I'm the handsome home buyer. You know the drill. House that smells like cat pee. Any house, any condition. I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. That's